Hello everyone, we're going to look at Unit 9 in your Grammar, Form, and Function book. And so if you look at page 243, there it is right there, page 243, we're actually only going to do part of this unit. So we're doing parts 9A, 9B, 9C, and 9D. So everything else in this unit you do not need to know for the next exam. Okay. So just an overview. If you look at page 243, this is the table of contents. It starts with in 9A all of, the difference between all of, almost all of. So all of course, would be 100%, and almost all of would be close to 100%, but not 100%. Most of, some of, and none of. Okay, so that's the first thing that we're going to do. And then in 9B, we're going to look at the word every. And every, of course, we treat as though it were singular, even though we really mean that it's plural. So I could say something like every student, singular, every student in our class is smart. Okay, but what that means is he's smart and she's smart and she's smart and he's smart, right? So we're thinking of each of them individually. Then we're going to talk about the difference between very and to. Very and to. There's kind of a difference in attitude when I talk about very and to. So I might say, it's very hot outside. It's more of a positive attitude than, oh, it's too hot outside. So just a sneak peek, you'll hear me say this a lot. To, T-O-O, means that there's a problem. Okay, and then the final thing that we're going to learn in this unit is the difference between too many and too much. Too many, too much. So too many would be for things that you can count, right? So maybe there are too many people. There are too many students. There are too many chairs. There are too many computers, right? So those are things that you can count. Too much would be the opposite of things that you cannot count. So I might say to a class of noisy students, "Hey, there is it's singular. Too much talking. There's too much talking." Okay, or it in some places in the world, some countries in the world, there's a lot of pollution. Let me pull up a picture of pollution. Just whoops, that's not pollution. Whoops. Let me show you what I mean by pollution. Oops. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Right? So if you live in a place like this, it might be difficult to breathe because there is too much smoke in the air. And we call that air pollution. Okay. So that's a quick overview. Let me close that. So let's start with the very first thing that we're going to talk about, and that is the difference between all of. Here, let me erase that real quick. All of, almost all of. Let me erase that as well. Most of, some of, and none of. Okay. So all of course, is 100%. Let me put everything together. Okay, so I might say in our class, all of the students, I checked the last time I saw you, all of the students, oops, how did that get there? All of the students have teeth. I've checked every single one of you, right? So if we look at a picture like this, what does it look like? Smile, 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 smile. So we might say all of the people are smiling. Actually, that guy might not be smiling. So let's say that for almost all of, right? But two eyes, two eyes, two eyes, two eyes. We could say something like, whoop, all of the people have two eyes. It's a very intelligent thing to say. Or if you look at this picture over here, right, with the teacher and the five students, looks like, I think that's a smile. I'm going to call that a smile. I'm going to call that a smile too. We might say all of the people are smiling, 100% of them. Okay, so do you notice for a word that begins with all, okay, and then the noun that comes after it, in this case it's plural because there are more than one, or sorry, there is more than one person. So we're going to say all of the people, we're making it plural, are smiling. Okay. The next one is almost all of. What I wrote was less than 100%. I mean, I think of it, 90% ish, 80% ish. Ish means about. Okay. It's not a real word. It's just what people say. 80% ish, a little bit, kind of. Okay, so almost all. I think this guy here is not smiling, right? So we might say almost all of the people are smiling. Or we could say, let's see, I think all of them are adults, right? Here's a better example. Child, 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 not a child. So in this case, we could say almost all of the people are children. Oops. Almost all of the people are children. Okay. In our class, let's pretend this is not true, probably, but let's pretend we have 10 students and 9 are from, give me a country. Tanzania, okay? And 1 is from Vietnam, okay? It's not true, but just an example, right? We might say not all, right? Because of the one student from Vietnam, but we could say almost all of the students are from Tanzania. You get that? Okay. And really, almost all of is very similar to most of. It's just that when I say almost all, it's really close to 100%. Okay. Most of it's going to be more than 51%. So believe it or not, in this picture here, I counted. I think I have it written down somewhere. I counted how many men there were and how many women. I don't remember where. Oh, there it is. 15 men, 14 women. See, I didn't lie to you. So there's one more man than there are women, right? It's not an equal number. So we could say something like most, because we wouldn't say almost all of them are men, right? Because the difference is only one person, right? Most of the people are women, right? Or in a picture like this, right? Most of the people are children. Oh, we already said that with almost all, didn't we? All right, let's just keep this as our example. Some of would be less than 50%. I don't know that we can come up with some of for this. Well, I guess we could. We have a female, male, male, female, female, right? So we could say some of the people are male. By the way, and this isn't in the book, but it's good to know, we could also change that to a couple of the people. A couple means to a couple of the people are male, right? But of course, most of the people are female. Okay, but if we look at a picture like this, we said most of the people are men, so therefore, some of the people are not men. What are they? Women. Okay, then none of would be 0%. Okay, so in a picture like this, none of the people are angry. I don't think. None of them at least look angry in the picture. Right? Or if you look at a picture like this, well, they all look like adults to me. I don't see any children. So we might say none, 0%, none of the people are children. Oops, spelled it correctly. There you go. Right? So that's really what this lesson is about. Okay. Here's another similar example, right? You've got a child, a man, a child, a man, sorry, a child and another child. 3 out of 4 of the children are boys. You've got 1 girl. So you might say most of the children are boys, right? Or most of the people, if you're talking about all of them, most of the people are children. Okay. Most of the people are male, right? Yeah, so those are just some examples. All right. Let's go into 9b. And with 9b, this is about the word every. Okay. Find a place to type real quick. Okay. So I might say, if I'm talking about our class, every student in our class is from another country. And what I mean by that is besides the United States, not the United States. Okay. So I want you to notice it says every, then it's a singular noun, and then the verb has to agree. So every student is, right? Every student in our class. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I'm just going to say it. My guess is every student has a cell phone or has a smartphone. So I'm going to say have or has if it's singular. Has probably has a phone. I might be wrong on that one, but my guess is everyone has a phone. Okay. So again, singular, right? I can say this, every teacher at Phoenix College. Let's see, every teacher at Phoenix College. I can't say that they're all good. So I can't say every teacher at Phoenix College is good. But I could say every teacher at Phoenix College gets paid. Gets paid to teach. I think that sounds better than to work. Okay, this one gets paid, this one gets paid. Not thousands of dollars, but we get a little bit. Okay, so that's every. That's how we use every. Okay, 9c is the difference between very and to. So if you look in your book, 9c begins on page 249. Okay, so this is the difference between very and to. Okay, and really, both of them, I like to do this, both of them mean that something, that we're increasing the quantity of something, right? So what I've said before is Arizona is hot, right? Well, it's very hot. Okay. But if I use very, there's kind of a positive attitude. So Arizona is very hot, but I love it there. Okay. But if I say to, it's kind of a negative attitude, a negative feeling, right? Arizona is too hot. Try to remove that. Arizona is too hot. I hate it. Right? So that's a negative attitude about Arizona. Okay. Okay. So we could use grammar class as an example. Let me just call it English grammar. English grammar is very easy. Oh, sorry. Very difficult. But I can learn it. It's possible. English grammar is too difficult. I hate it. I can't do it. I want to drop the class. Right? Okay. So a lot of people, a lot of students say to me at the end of a class, Mr. Lang, or they call me Joel, right? You are too handsome. Okay. And so I get that a lot, right? Um, and so what that means is that it's a problem how handsome I am. Okay. And I don't think it's a problem, right? So you really want to change that from too to very, okay? Because it's not a problem. It's not a problem how handsome I am. Now, if students can't learn because they look at my beautiful eyes and my beautiful smile and my strong muscles and my flat stomach, they can't learn anything because they just focus on how handsome I am, then you can say, yeah, he's too handsome. The teacher's too handsome. We need to drop the class and find an ugly teacher because our teacher is too handsome. It's a problem. Okay? Hopefully you understand that. I might be joking on that, on what I just said. I might not be. I don't know. Okay, and then let's look at 9D. Not 9D, but 9 letter D. In your book, it begins on page 252. This is the difference between too many and too much. I found some pictures of, this might be a new word for you. There are people that we have in this country, maybe you have them in your country as well. We call them hoarders. And what a hoarder is a person, and before I go on, a lot of people laugh at people like this. I kind of think it's sad. They're people with a mental problem, and they they buy too much. They buy too many things, or they collect things from outside, and they just don't have enough room in their house to organize or store the things that they have. But I thought this is a good example for telling the difference between too many and too much. So you see all the stacks of papers, right? Um, remember to, oh, here, where can I type? Remember, too much is for uncountable things, and remember, two is a problem. Ah, okay. And too many, of course, is for countable things. And again, two, I'm going to write it one more time. Two means that there's a problem. Okay. So if you were to enter this house, oops, too many mistakes, it's a problem. Okay, if you were to enter this house, this person's house, this person's room, right? You see all the stacks of paper, right? Paper is generally uncountable. You might say there is or there are too much paper. What do you think? Okay, so hopefully you know this. If it's uncountable, we treat it as if it's singular. So we're going to say there is too much paper. Okay. Uncountable. Sometimes English teachers call it non-count. Another word that you can use, we use this word a lot, but I'm not sure if you know this word, stuff. Stuff. It's really the same as things, right? So paper and looks like lots of books. and lots of pictures, and just lots of, it looks like a typewriter down there, and yeah, just lots of things. Okay, so we can say there's too much stuff. Another word that you might want to know, also uncountable, clutter. Just things that are not organized. They don't need to be there, right? I think if you live in the United States too long, you accumulate a lot of clutter. Clutter is a good word to know. Okay, so all of these are uncountable. Okay, for too many, so we can look at the same picture and say, well, there are too many things. Oh, yeah. So things are just like stuff, right? So this is one of those instances where, okay, it ends with an S, it's countable, so we're going to use R, even though it really, it means the same thing as stuff, okay? Um, this is a stack of paper, another stack of paper, another stack of paper. A stack is a pile, a pile, a pile. So you might say, even though there's too much paper, there are too many stacks of paper, or piles of paper, right? Let's look at that. You see all these books? I don't think this guy has time to read these books because all he does is buy more things or get more things from outside and put them in his house. So we might say there are too many books, right? So do you notice again, S? I'm gonna put an S there just to remind you. Okay. And here's another. This picture just makes me sad, but also very similar to the last one. So here's a boy. Looks like I think that must be the kitchen. I'm not even sure what that is. That looks like an oven, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, that's got to be the kitchen. Um, but look at all these plastic bags, all this trash, right? So very similar to the last one. Where would you put trash? Can you count trash? You really can't. So that would go over here. So we could say there is too much trash. Okay. Now bags, garbage bags, we call them. Let me show you a better picture of garbage bags. Images. I love Google Images. Okay. These are garbage bags, right? So if you look at that picture again, I see 1, 2, that looks like one more, 4, 5. Yeah, at least 5. So yeah, we could say there are too many garbage bags, right? Oh, another word that we use a lot is junk. You can use that for both. Junk is an uncountable word. There's too much junk. It's really similar to trash. The only difference is with the word junk, it's something that a particular person does not need, but someone else might need it. Okay, so if I eat a banana, and of course I don't eat the skin, we call that the banana peel. Okay, most people will just throw that away. That's trash. It's not useful. Okay, but if I have a magazine, and I don't read the magazine, I don't need to read the magazine, but maybe for you, oh, it's a great magazine. You think it's worth keeping. Okay, for me, it's junk because I don't need it. I don't use it. It's just in my way. But for you, it could be something useful, right? So that's what junk is. So useless for me, not necessary for me, but useful for somebody else. Okay. So a lot of antique stores, we think of it as, or even if you go to a place like Goodwill, um, for for a lot of people, it's all junk, junk, junk. Things we don't need. But then you find something that you really like, and for you, it's not junk. It's something necessary. Unless you do this sort of thing to your house. Okay. All right. So that's units 9A through D. Or unit 9. I'm sorry. Parts A through D. Sorry, it's late. Hopefully, you have a better understanding, and we will talk about it all again soon. Take care.